My name is Joseph Hayford. I run this firm, MULTICAD, which we started, can't even remember the timing of it, but it's a long time. I mean, I think we're pushing to 28 or 25, something like that. And we've been quietly but persistently giving the kind of service that we believe we are unique to providing. And so that's MULTICAD. It's one of the very few public projects we've done. Our work has always been in the private sector, in the commercial, industrial sector and all that. And then this opportunity for a very important hospital came. And I would say that the experience of collaborating to produce a hospital such as this and the kind of relationships, multinational relationships that brought together such a product is what I took away from it. So it was an interesting project, very good, well engineered, well planned, good execution from probably the best construction company in the world. Our role wasn't just architecture. We brought in all the supporting engineers who worked with the international engineers as well. So it was not only us collaborating with Perkins and Will, but we also, in our multidisciplinary approach to practice, we coordinated and supported on all the engineering, electrical, mechanical, coordinating traffic studies, coordinating topographical, geotechnical studies, all those things that are key. And then also ensuring that the interface between statutory requirements will be us. And the collaboration in terms of actual design and what works and what doesn't work started from then, Collaboration continued wherever in the world I was. I mean, it wasn't as if we had to sit in the same room. I remember there'll be months I'll be in Rome on holiday for 6 weeks, and I took so many calls and so many, I actually had the regulations on my laptop, and, I was telling them what, there was a whole radical request from myself to cut the building up and bring more daylight into it, because they were used to engineering the environment, and you could create everything in a box. But then, as they grew to understand how tropical architecture works and the fact that daylighting was even engineered into our regulations, the design took a different form. So you tend to see the fingers. Yeah, that was my input. I mean, I stood my ground, and so that is also playing out in the phase 2 as well. The design of phase 2 we've already done, plays out in that fashion. The morphology of the project clearly shows the impact of the tropical form into it. Most people don't know that at the time this project was concluded and inaugurated, it was perhaps the premier green hospital facility in Africa south of the Sahara, including South Africa, for what it was, for its engineering, for its services, for everything green about architecture. And we went through the whole process and ensured that it was certified properly. So design decisions will come in and go out on the basis of the fact that the green requirements didn't allow for that, even procurement pathways and so on and so forth. So by the time we finished, I took my friends and partners, BNP, you know them, I showed them around, we were walking around, and coming from South Africa, a country that is so well endowed with health facilities, I mean, they were very impressed. They were blown away by what they experienced and what they saw. So the project is really unique, and it gives me a little bit of concern because we need to keep it. All that engineering has to be supported. It costs money to keep these investments so that they can deliver the level of service that they were engineered to do. Even the materials, I mean, it was the first time you know, the Trespa panels have been introduced in this country, and they sought my opinion because if I didn't give a positive view about it, they would probably have used something else. And we had been looking at a similar material, previously, you know, and so we understood the material and all that. There's also a part of the building that touches me very much. If you look at this bridge that connects on the east side, there's a bridge with a kente motif and stainless steel, you know. That was a Perkins and Will idea, you know, when they came to love the kente and what it does, and they were looking for a way to translate that into a two-dimensional, you know. So it's a section of the building that I really love. You know, it worked so well. You see the bridge and its cladding, and you realize that this is something directly out of our culture and our art. I think that there were no difficulties of the kind. We fought certain battles a long time ago, in the beginnings of what trying to get any design team to understand the importance of the lead consulting architect from the country of execution to the whole body of work that is supposed to. We fought those battles early. The uniqueness about this team that we were in was the understandings, very early understandings about how effective collaboration will achieve where we wanted to go. So it wasn't a project where there were difficulties in asserting our input. No. Our input was given pride of place in the sense very clearly that the local knowledge is required for a lead in making this thing fit for its purpose. And so we had to, and it's a huge responsibility. People think that you just want to be boss for being bossy. It's a huge responsibility because if it doesn't work, it's your PI insurance on the line. You understand? They might ask you for a simple detail about a door. Give us a detail of the way you guys just fit a simple door. And you must give that. But if you do, you're on the hook, because if it's not working, the client is going to come around and say, who fixed this door? And then the contractor says, we got a detail from XYZ. And there you are. He calls you and he says, who's going to pay for this? You understand? And so it is with other things. There are other huge risks which come with this responsibility of saying, yes, we're telling you what works in this country, and we're bringing a load of experience to it. And if you take it, we are reasonably confident that this project works the way it's supposed to. It could be a host of statutory procedures, building regulation details, all those big and small things. They all come to signify the responsibility that you have to make a project work. And so we do not take this whole position lightly. It's important for us as local architects to understand the responsibility we carry when we affect a project in the way that we're supposed to. And it comes with ensuring that we have PI insurance as well. It's very important. Recently, we've been discussing group PI for the institute, you know, to make it cheaper for people to carry the size of insurance that's necessary. You know, in a group fashion, it's cheaper and so on. Right now, we're just writing it singular, but they ask for $2.5–3 million of PI insurance, and you have to provide it. I think when I was the president of the institute, I had a whole address on one of the AGMs on this particular subject. We have to be careful about confusing building information modeling and its beautiful products with what is intrinsic to the architecture we produce and all that. And then we have to be very careful not to get lost in the skin of the product. Everybody wants a building that looks nice, and it's all about the superficial look about it. It's all about very loud colors, and you know, so But is that the product? What about what is at the core of it, how it works, how it is able to address the utilitarian requirements, how it will endure? To me, that's the most important thing. You have to be clear that certain forms and certain thirst for fads and colors and so on lead you up a street where the architecture that results doesn't endure anymore, and it becomes dated. We need to as architects, we need to build for all time. We need to be very careful in our search about what we do, such that when we leave the product, it's like a cathedral in Europe. It stays forever, and people fight to keep it.